Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Are we here? Did we get hacked again? Are we all going down?
It's salutations.
I just said, are we here? Are we getting hacked again? Are we going down?
Good day, good day.
Sound check. Right?
All right.
Sound check.
Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful Sunday evening.
The stream that has been delayed for days.
Yes, this stream should have been technically done Thursday evening, but,
Well, I was recovering from sunburn from Tuesday, so we were going to do it Friday, but then we got hacked. It was supposed to be a day off instead of Thursday. It was Friday. And now it's Sunday. The domino effect of things in life.
It has been a very long week.
Hello, Bets and the B-Man.
Even had a little meetup at the Longo meetup.
I just realized I started eating cheese again. I'm live. I need to hold off eating. Because I got so comfortable and relaxed already as if I was sitting here doing all the research. That's all the research. So, speaking of having eventful, shitty moments in life, I got something for y'all. Maybe it'll cheer you up.
If you're a guy, keep scrolling.
Sup, boys? You're with me today. Check this out.
You wanna put a ring on my finger?
No, not that one. Oh my gosh. Did that perk anybody else up? I mean, this is my list of liked. I can't make it unprivate for some reason. I don't care if it was like to share with everybody, but I hit thumbs up on a lot of stuff. As you can tell, it says 2,819 thumbs up. Short videos, long videos from, oh, you name it. I think there was I usually hit funny ones, but oh, this is just fun too.
She's got a figure that's shown up in attention. She's poetry in motion, a beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy. She's real, she's tight, got all the curves a man like. She's real, she's tight.
See, isn't that fun? Just take your mind off your troubles. Just jamming. Now, this other video was just so captivating because they nail it. It's funny with the name, but they nail the dance move and the synchronicity and to the song. They're so good. It put a smile on my face. I watched this thing over and over again. They're so good. Now, oh, sorry. If this was 20 years ago, I could do all of that. That's what I used to do when I was a teenager. I could dance like that. Like, I'm still eating cheese. Sorry.
So,
this is another good one. I'm sorry. I just need to vent and share my little pieces of happiness.
What's
I love their faces. I love their pants.
That this was built. 14.
Oh. So
14.
Oh,
that's my little pep
gee.
rally, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I just sit around and look for things that make me happy, or I can relate to, or even just middle finger to the world.
yeah, that was the big update of the week is JJ's computer, not mine, but JJ's computer, it got hacked.
We have the same
And
computers.
Yes,
They're both.
we do. We have the same computers.
We've only had them for 2 months.
Yeah, we didn't have them too.
Mine's
long,
on most of the
but,
time.
Basically, yeah, it got hacked, and
So I'll
they
give
had
you
to
I will
find
give
it,
everybody
but-
a very simple warning of the hack. It popped up in disguised, I want to say layers, because I have a screenshot of it. I don't know why I felt like taking a picture of it. Like something was off with it, but it was so hard to tell. Very well photoshopped, manipulated, whatever. I don't have it on the computer to share with everybody, but I will just say I was on the computer and it buffered. The security protection from Windows, the shield defense, whatever it's called, right? It pops up like it has happened before because we have had security alerts of viruses or whatever. I obviously call in tech support, and we were both staring at it, and he's more into reading it and what's going on. In my layman's term of saying, the hackers literally did a double Trojan horse. They lit a fire over there so that Windows would go, hey, look at that. And as soon as Windows, the security defense, says, hey, look at that, they piggybacked right on it. And their number popped up to say call support number, whatever, because it was like a, I want to say photoshopped, just a very, forget those. I want to say smoke and mirrors. It was really weird because it also felt like we knew something was off, but we couldn't tell what it was. Because the other problem was this thing popped up on the screen and we could not get out of it. So we figured Microsoft, through the computer system, this is my layman's term, had a lock on it for our protection with the computer safety to call and be like, hey, something is going on. It's really, really bad. You can't get into your computer. So we're sitting there going, while this is going on, there's my headphones, while this is going on, because it was a fake distraction of a small virus, but it alerted it piggybacked, or however hacker terms of viruses get in, to say anything we did afterwards, it was sitting there in plain sight with an invisible cloak. And it just started having a party. We were like, shitfest. Hello, Shem.
Hey, Shem. Hey,
And
Bex. Hey, Nigel.
Nigel. I was thinking nuggets.
Bernie.
I've had a long 3 days.
It's been
Sorry, nuggets.
It's been a very long.
And Bernie
long
was
couple
here,
of
and we had
days.
Bex, and so he ripped it out of the wall to just turn everything off. But there was already some damage done. I'm sorry, I'm eating cheese again because I guess I'm stressed. So he gets everything squared away as best he can. We have to plug it back in. We have to do a full swipe. And he's like,
Yeah.
The external hard drives are fine. Take all your folders, whatever, and save them to the external hard drive. I forgot all but 2 because all my folders were on the desktop, but 2. Because when I do screen grabs or light shots or whatever, it goes to some other folder that I normally remember to look into. But just stressed and exhausted. I'm sorry, I'm eating cheesy. I mean, I'm stressed. I'm eating.
Yeah, essentially, I unplugged everything. I unhooked the internet connection altogether.
Once he knew what was
And
going on, and it was because he recognized something that his 20-year-old computer programming stuff, he was like, oh shit, and just ripped it right out of the wall.
yeah,
We couldn't even use the mouse. Everything was useless. It was just
Yeah.
sitting there, and he's like, no, this is not happening. 'Cause we did, I don't know, you tried calling a number, and it was just like a busy signal, and there's no way that's their number. And so shit just went sideways pretty fast, but we also reacted pretty fast as you could because we were both staring at it. We were both
Yes.
getting the heebie-jeebie vibes of going, hey, it took 15 years. Somebody finally got at us. Never been hacked before.
Yeah. And
Never been hacked before. But I lost the 2 folders I didn't save, had all of the recent research stuff that I had just accumulated. And then I was just so frazzled. I didn't save any of my toolbar stuff. I literally took pictures of my toolbar. Bookmark toolbar. I was like, I'll look it up later. And then I realized was the articles. And I was like, oh, I at least could have sent those to you in Facebook and not just delete. We were so frazzled.
One of those things.
I didn't eat enough cheese.
But I would say that we have let the community know, since Thursday, Friday, whatever, that what happened to us being hacked and finances being ripped out and whatever. And
I put something in the community page. I was like, go digital, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I am so analog old school. I'm like, give me a freaking pad of paper and a pencil. I'm tired of this.
We definitely just want to say thank you to everybody, who reached out, for
yes, it was so nice to hear from everybody that were like,
everybody.
Do you need anything? Like, do you need anything? And we're like, oh, thankfully we pay our bills right away.
Yeah.
Thankfully we were not totally scredoodled, and we're hoping that the insurance or the bank part of the insurance, because it was such a small amount that they lost out on, that we weren't big ticket people. But everybody was like, very much saying, sorry, that sucks. And do you need anything? Even though I'm another country away, I'm obviously in another state. I don't know what else I can say besides, do you need anything? I'm sorry. It was such genuine, like, wow, that sucks. Kind of like the community with just.
Yeah, there really is an awesome community here.
Of support going, but it felt really nice. It made it less stressful. So much appreciated for everybody.
We just.
You know what? I'm going to throw this out there.
Where is it?
Because it's my other happy dance. It's my happy dance for people.
So but before we got this research stream going, which we will, we just wanted to kind of let a little bit more out in the community.
Let you know what all the catastrophe kind of was.
So we'll still be obviously dealing with it for some short time to come, but we'll get through it. We're strong individuals. We'll be okay. And you know,
I'm feeling really weak right now.
we greatly appreciate the outreach and support that we've gotten from the community. So seriously, everybody. We can't even name everybody.
That's
You know,
more like
thank
why
you.
I think I was like, we could put it off for another week, but I'm excited to share and do the stream and the video. Hi, Edna. I was excited to get it out there and not push myself too hard because I know my limits, but I was excited to go, no, I want to put it out there. I want to I want to go hang out with everybody, whether it's on our channel or not, but definitely like see it, what we're doing kind of swings in the direction of if we're onto something, because I feel like much to Ben from Analog, the archivist, has motivated us to look at these articles, find other articles between actually Analog and Longo, and putting our personality spin on it, because it can't help but crack up laughing when we mess up on all of the reading that we do and anything else that comes to mind and putting pieces together. So very much kind of a shout out of inspired from other channels. Definitely cool. And the fact that I have had some comments come through. I don't know if it's because of just YouTube or my computer's being hacked. Some people were letting me know in another chat on another channel that they were checking out a video or two on my channel and they would make a comment. I don't get notifications all the time. I eventually come across some stuff and it might be a month later. And that's another reason I was like, this absolutely sucks. I get no notifications if somebody commented, and some people are sharing other information as comments. So I appreciate that too, because I don't know it all. And it sucks that even if you tell me, I'm intrigued, I'm not going to remember it. But I was telling Joe, it sits there in the back of my head. So it's kind of like I remember it, but it doesn't get until it's buffered. It's got to get buffered out. It's got to get like wax and buffer. Wax on, wax off, and back on again.
Yeah.
So,
all right, everybody, we're going to throw in a short intro. So, you know, break it up. So we'll do an intro here, and then we'll get right into the research, which you are all here for, right? All right.
our shining personalities.
And that too. With a smile and a grin.
And cheese.
And cheese.
If you like that sort of thing.
Yep. See y'all in a brief moment.
I'm like, where did we go? That was good timing. I finished my snack.
There we go.
Alrighty, yep. Right.
Okay,
And I have
so
a brain fart. This is why we pre-record it, because I just went totally blank. So we pretty much were able to literally 2 hours ago finish recording to have the pre-recorded stuff, because we don't want to just do premiere. We kind of want to be like semi-live premiere. So far, that's the idea of it. And it's funny to say my original plan was to have like 5-minute videos talking about articles. That went out the window.
yeah,
This video is going to be about an hour and a half. We have 16 articles that we're reading from different newspaper press companies. They're pretty much all on the same topic. I was looking into Egmont Key and Fort Dade, Dade, that's on Egmont Key, and Key is island. It's just like a couple miles that way in the middle of the water from where we live. Hey, Elkman. And I had to do 2 separate searches to find information, and the Seminole natives came up as a big part of it. So these news articles in this video is from the 1930s. 1830s.
1830s is what we are reading from.
And it, I want to say refers to, without saying it exactly, but because it's published when it is, I don't officially know when they decide to name wars. So the time frame of the 1830s, and then our next stream video will be the 1840s, 50s, 60s to the 90s.
We actually had to break it
1890s.
up in different decades because we're like, there's
Yeah.
too much.
So it has to do with military, the government, military, what they do with the land, who they say gets. I get buffered a lot now. You know where this is going. And who gets removed from the land. So the Second Seminole War is the time frame, the Second Seminole War, of 1835 to 1845. And then obviously we get to the other decades. What's going on with this small little island, y'all? What's going on with this? Because there's a lighthouse on it. There's the fort. But when they mention the fort, it doesn't actually refer to the battery star fort that is displayed or actually sinking into the ocean. So yes, the first Seminole War was 1817, and it was only like a year. And I don't say that lightly. I'm just trying to like pull my memory bank for stuff like that. So I don't have anything else to add because I'm just getting tongue-tied.
No, it's all right. I'm going to do this real quick just so people
there you go.
see where we're talking. I wasn't going to do this, but I'm like, you know what? People need to see where we're talking, right? Okay. Florida, right? That's where we're at. What we're looking at as far as the Egmont Key. Now, here's Fort DeSoto Star Fort. There's one here. Yes, there is. But Egmont Key is this little island, which is about 1 mile, 2 miles just off the coast.
Depends on which article you read.
So we are going to be talking about this.
Well, if you zoom in, the north part of the island, just go ahead and show them. The north part is the lighthouse and the batteries. That would be like connection to the Star Fort looking things. Also, this island is literally half its size.
It was bigger. Yes, it was.
We have a picture, an aerial photograph in the video that's going to slideshow as we're reading, and the southern tip part is the fort part, which is just the military housing units.
Oh, that would be.
Aside from the bird
weird.
sanctuary, wow, it looks even thinner than last year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the way it looks on screen, but no, it's like half its size. The part to the left that goes into the Gulf, that's the side that is watching away.
So when you hear Fort Dade during this articles, this is what they're talking about right here is Fort Dade. Right here on this little island of Egmont Key. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Warrior. What was
roll
that?
up the newspaper and start smacking people like your old grandma.
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Oh, that's a funny edit. Thanks, babe. Hello and welcome. We are going to be reading from some vintage newspapers. We sourced them from libraryofcongress.org. I looked into Egmont Key, Florida, which has Fort Dade, D-A-D-E, Fort Dade, on it. And it brought up some interesting information, obviously about the island, the comings and goings, and it definitely brought in the information to do with the Seminole tribe of native indigenous people in the area, and apparently other channels. It is a big part of Florida. It is a big part of history. So we're going to roll that intro footage. There will be pictures, photos, news clipping, screen shares in the very entertaining video while we read what we have discovered. Apologies in advance for all of our reading mishaps. And that wasn't even reading. I just put reading mishaps. Mishaps. Oh, okay. I'm so excited. I'm not nervous excited. I'm just like, it's been very frustrating getting hacked and having to start all over. Anywho, without further ado, I'm going to play the video and get reading. The music is very quiet, so that threw me off too. Our first article is from Burlington Free Press, Burlington, Vermont, March 3rd, 1837. It is the latest from Florida. There was a report received in this city by the express mail of Sunday, in which we received, in common with others, that Osceola, which is a chief, I believe, because there's pictures and more information. Osceola, the print is very faint. Osceola had surrendered. We did not publish it because the same express mail brought us later news contradicting that report. I mean, that's just news in general. You get one station says this, the other station says that. The following by yesterday's express mail is the latest news from that quarter that can be at all replied upon. That was from the Southern Patriot Extra, apparently, as of February 17th. This was March 3rd of 1837, so mail gets behind for sure. We are indebted to Colonel H. Staten, late John Dent, General of the Army of the South, who arrived here this forenoon. Wow, I have not heard that expression of forenoon.
Forenoon.
Afternoon, it's forenoon. It's B4. It's just called 4. There's no B. Anyways, the font is very hard to read. They were low on ink that day. In the steamer Charleston, the steamer boat Charleston, Captain King. Now that's a name.
Captain King
of Gray's Ferry, on his way from headquarters to Washington with dispatches for the following information. General Jessup. Is that how you say Jessup?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's General Jessup from the movie A Few Good Men. Watch out, everybody.
Oh wow, let's go. Jessup returned with the main body of his army to Fort Armstrong from his late excursion in the heart of the Indian country, having, in the course of the expedition, effected the surprise. On the 24th, wow, it's really hard to read, something of the Chief Chief Cooper. In his stronghold, Cooper, his son, and an inferior chief, oh, that's inferior. They always talk down about other people. Inferior chief called Akachu Charlie. I did not sneeze. And another Indian were killed. Comper's family, women and children, were captured on the 27th. A detachment fell in with a party of Indians and Negroes who fled into the Big Cypress Swamp. This is so hard to read. And impenetrable. I can't eat. That's not a P. Impenetrable morass. What?
Yeah, morass.
Impenetrable morass. Like, they were pursued by a party of Marines under Colonel Henderson and a number of Creek Indians. A skirmish ensued. A skirmish.
A skirmish. Skirmish.
A skirmish. The print's really bad. A skirmish ensued, which resulted in our losing 2 Marines killed and 3 wounded. The enemy lost 2 killed. They were pursued until dark, when the party returned to headquarters, having captured from 30 to 40 Indian Negroes, men, women, and children, about 100 ponies, 50 of which were leaded. What is that? Laden with packs, and 1,400 head of cattle were taken on the 27th and the 28th. Well, why not both days? Why not? They're just here to take everything. That's the history of histories, right? People show up to take everything. From the declaration of prisoners, it was believed the Indians were, it's a hyphenated word, and I gotta jump to the top, the very, very top. Was that Durus of Peace? It was DE. Durus. It was DES hyphen ROUS. Durus of peace. Upon the terms of the late treaty, one of them was dispatched with a message from General J to the chief Jumper. Was that Jumper? That was hyphenated too. That if Dirus, is that what that says? Dirus? Like dire?
Dirus of peace. Yes.
Like I desire. Okay, that's what the other word. Without a hyphen, it's Dirus of peace. He and the other chiefs in the neighborhood could come in and hold a talk upon the subject. The messenger returned the following day and stated that he had seen Abraham, who informed him that Jumper, that's so funny, Chief Jumper, what a name, could be found in the course of the following day. That he, Abraham, would see him and communicate General J's message. I think I need to change my name. General J. I'm just kidding. The messenger was sent out the following day and returned accompanied by Abraham, who stated that Jumper, go General J Jumper, that's maybe, to owing to ill health, had been unable to come in with him, but would come in on the 29th. On that day, an officer of General Staff was sent out to meet Chiefs, Jumper, Alligator, Chief Alligator. Come on, chomp chomp. Do the alligator claw, like hand claws, you know? That's funny. Chief Alligator. Come on, can you imagine like the stadium rooting like how we do things today in the schools and the stadiums? You got Chief Alligator, like the Florida Gators, and you're just in the stadium doing the chomp chomp. You got Chief Jumper, like jumping rope or something. Anyway, and they got Abraham. It's all biblical. I don't know. And anyways, who were conducted to within half a mile of the army, where they encamped and where General Jessup, that's what I'm like, Jessup Jumper, oh my gosh, General J met them. In his talks with them, he stated that if they were desirous of peace, like they craved it, they wanted it, you know. When I say jump, you say how high. Is that where that's from? General Jumper? When I say jump, you say how high. Oh, man.
Might be something to it.
Might be something. Give me a second. In his talks with them, he stated that if they are desirous of peace, on the conditions of fulfilling the late treaty, it would be granted to them. Jumper stated, Jumper. Then there's the outfit jumpers that little kids wear. That's just, oh no, there's the adult versions too. That's just funny. Anyways, he stated in his reply that he had no authority for entertaining into terms as the power of deciding for peace or war was vested in Mich. Is that right? McAnopy? That name comes up again later. The principal chief, to whom he promised faithfully to report their proceedings. He expressed himself favorable to peace, as did also the chief Alligator. The party of hostiles. Which side? I don't know what that's a vague statement. The party of hostiles. Excuse me? Which side are we talking about? Who you calling a hostile? The ones that were here first? calling them hostiles, as usual. The party of hostiles were visited by several of the Friendly Creek chiefs, and they were decidedly
they were
of opinion that the hostiles, were 4-piece. Jumper and Alligator promised. Oh my god, I feel like I'm reading a kid's story, like the tortoise and the hare. That's a tie to it also. You never know. There's a reason for everything, right? Anyways, Jumper and Alligator promised to send out runners immediately to the different war parties with orders to suspend hostilities until the 18th. Instructions, I think that's abbreviated, as that day was appointed for a general council at Fort Dade. It's on an island. Fort Dade is on Egmont Key. It's an island. Very interesting. A lot of information. Sorry about being tongue-tied. The next article is March 15th. Joe Cool, that is your birthday. Wrong year, 1837. So you do the honors of reading a much smaller article.
Yes.
It says late from Florida.
From Florida. Osceola not captured.
That's the chief. He'll probably say that in the...
Yes, which is from Library of Congress, of course. Constantine Republic, Constantine, Michigan. March. It turns out that Osceola, the Invincible, is not captured, and that General Jessup has returned to Fort Armstrong with the main body of the army. The fruits of this last expedition are the capture on the 24th of January of the Indian chief Cooper, the killing of Cooper's son, and Charlie, Cooper's family of 15 or 20 women and children were captured the 50th.
I wonder if that's a typo.
Wow.
The 50th?
It's
30th?
50th, but geez, that's so wordy. Another party of Indians and Negroes were pursued into the Big Cypress Swamp and impenetrable morass by Colonel Henderson and the Marines, by which Operation 2 of the latter were killed and 3 wounded.
Okay, this is the same story I just read, but a lot shorter.
Yeah.
It's already like a lot shorter. There's less details in it. So, but it's a lot easier to read. That's funny because this is a different publication. This is Constantine Republic of Constantine, Michigan. The other one was Burlington Free Press of Vermont. Same year of 1837. Same month of March. So, if we look at it going through the list, if you just want to keep reading it, because
yeah, I'll just run through. The Indians lost 2 killed and 30 or 40 Indian Negroes, men, women, and children prisoners. On the 27th and 28th, 100 ponies, 50 of which were laden with packs, and 1,400 head of cattle were taken. As a lot of cattle.
Yep.
Through the medium of the prisoners, founded on their friendly declarations, negotiations were opened with Abraham and Jumper, who, with Alligator, came in the 29th and held a conference with the general. In his talk with them, he stated that if they were desirous of peace on the conditions of fulfilling the late treaty, it would be granted.
So yeah, very similar to the first one I just read, but they're still like, condensing it, because it goes on to say the exact same thing, where they're gonna have basically an appointed council meeting at Fort Dade. It's really interesting because you have the same problem today with news media, whether it's on a device, TV, phone, tablet, or it's printed. The same problem. Growing up even through the 90s, I remember people claiming that the Times was their favorite or News Weekly was their favorite, and whatever. You still have the same division of today, whether it was national or local. People were divided, just like high schools, your colors, your mascot, your school spirit. The same thing with anything on the block. It's really interesting. We're just going to go to the next article, babe.
Yep.
Litchfield Inquiry. Is that what that is? Enquirer. Why did I say E? Oh, I just dropped one of the R's. March 16th, 1837. Well, this is next to your birthday. I'll let you read this one. Late from Florida, also. It's easier to read than the first one.
Okay, let's see here. Late from Florida, war renewed. As we predicted. Ooh, they predicted.
Apparently.
The pretended arithmetics of General Jessup had turned out another sham.
The shams.
Or ruse. In other words, an ingenious device to gain time has been caught in the snare and duped in this matter, as General Gaines was before. The famous Osceola and McConaughey did not come in to the council.
The two chiefs.
That was to be held at Fort Dade, 14 miles below Fort Armstrong. That's some length. On February 18th. By advices from Fort Armstrong near Dade's battleground to February 23rd, received at Savannah, we learned that Jumper had sent word that he was sick. Abraham, however, and two sub-chiefs are said to have surrendered. There are 100 Seminole encamped 1 mile from Fort Dade, waiting the issue. All the army, 1,250 strong, are at this fort, except Captain Ringgold's company. Company's
Ringgold's.
Ringgold's company.
Now, I'm going to pause you real quick. It says there's 100 Seminoles encamped 1 mile from Fort Dade. I believe the Fort Dade is on an island. So the island is a mile, and Fort Dade is the actual housing units for the army, not the battery, which is on the opposite end of the island. I don't even think the island's a full mile, but back then it was a lot bigger. It's a lot smaller now.
Yes.
So where they ended up building, supposedly later, where the battery fort itself and the lighthouse is on the north part of the island, and the camp where the housing is on the south end. So if they had the Indians stand over there and the army personnel was standing over there, because it's literally a mile long in itself. I don't. That's weird.
Probably one end to the other.
Yeah, the island was a lot bigger. Carry on.
Wow. So, all the army are at this fort except for Captain Ringgold's company. Companies 1 and parts of F and D, the 3rd Artillery, together with 1 company of the 4th Artillery. These companies were selected to form the garrison of Fort Armstrong, situated in the vicinity of the Wahoo. By an arrival at Charleston from Jacksonville later than the above, we learned that General Jessup had sent to Gary's Ferry for 400 horses to renew the campaign, and hostilities were to be recommenced February 25th. 2 of General Hernandez's Negroes, who had been prisoners to the Seminoles, had escaped to St. Augustine and reported that
That's a hike.
400 Indian warriors of Philip's gang were concentrated near Palakataka.
That actually,
Seriously.
that sounded like, yeah, you said it right.
Okay, just so everyone knows, it is spelled Pilakahakahah. Yeah, you get it. So I completely murdered that word.
Because I
but-
want a hockaloogie.
Yeah. So anyway,
That, wow.
the
that's why I said that-
Indians.
The English language it butchers everybody's other language across the board. It's just horrible because we aren't taught really good phonetics, I want to say, in considering other cultures, because then our brains would grasp that better. Because, like, we say key with a K, E, Y, but everywhere else, pretty much they do with a Q. The Q is the key sound, and I'm like, that messes anybody up, right? Like, what? Why would you do that? Because the English messed it up. Thank you. Carry on.
Yep. So the Indians have had no talk, whatever, and their object has been, without doubt, as it was, to remove off their squaws and opposes to some new hiding place among the impenetrable Everglades. The
Oh,
chiefs, it is now rumored, are in favor of an armistice. So the young men against it, they have plenty of ammunition. In
That's
the
all you
late
need, boys.
attack, that's right. In the late attack on Colonel Banning, they lost, but 1 killed and 3 wounded. There is a prevailing notion among the Seminoles that General Jessup intends to handcuff and ship them off as soon as he can catch them.
That's right. You need plenty of ammunition, and you're not. So, zigzag running. I don't think that was for the alligator, right? Because Chief Alligator did the zigzag. I bet that's how he got away. So they're
Yeah.
like, well, that must be how you run away from alligators. So obstacle course, endurance training. You can't, what I think Aladdin says it. Ha, you're only in trouble if you get caught. I'm in trouble. Interesting. So, like we've pretty much learned, even in our regular history classes, if you had more than one through the years, maybe. The way they depict it is just like, oh, it's just a misunderstanding, but we own it. it's like, well, first come, first serve, right? No, we own it. You see this? The musket. We own it. We got more ammo. We own it. I mean, the indigenous should have had booby traps everywhere. Like the Goonies. Booby trap everything.
Really?
Who knows? This is just part of the storyline that just expands into going, maybe it was a booby trap. The whole thing. We're still living it. We call it reality, but it's just a booby trap. Put that on a t-shirt. This reality is a booby trap. And I don't mean dirty. Get your mind out of the gutter. Okay. On to the next article, right? True American from New Orleans, Louisiana. True American. Isn't that... No, that's True Religion. The jeans.
Yeah.
Or no, actually, I think True America... No, that's Good American. That's the other jeans. I don't buy these jeans. Heck no, I don't even wear jeans. Anyways, news article from True American. April 3rd, 1837. The Seminoles. Our correspondent of the Pensacola Gazette has kindly put us in possession of news from Tampa. By the revenue cutter, Washington, okay. Captain Day. Man, if he had the night shift, that would just be funny. Captain Day arrived at that place on the 28th ultimo. That is a very faded word. Major Wilson of the Armies and Lieutenant Powell of the Navy came passengers in Washington. Oh my gosh. The Vandala? That's hyphenated. Vandala. Captain Crab. Oh, that's even better. Captain Crab.
Captain Krabs.
Captain Day. Major Wilson. Captain Crab. Is now at Tampa. General Jessup is still at Fort Dade. And there he will remain till all the Indians are packed off. Like it's a box of clothes or something till they're packed off. McCanapney. It's almost like McCanapney. Canopy. Okay, now I see it. It looks more like my canopy. M-I?
Yes.
My canopy. Get off my canopy. That's my canopy. Am I saying that right? What's that thing that hangs?
Canopy, but...
Well, what hangs between the trees, right? Canopy? Is that what that is?
That's a hammock.
Hammock. Why am I thinking my canopy is a hammock? Canopy hangs over to keep the bugs out, right? Okay. We'll figure this out as we go. Anyway, my canopy came into camp about the 17th. He signed the treaty previously agreed upon by Cloud. They're not putting chief in front of it. I can tell when it's a chief. But they're not. They're just like, your name's Cloud. Who cares? It's so rude. They go generals and majors, but it's Chief Cloud and others. There were 250 of the hostiles with their families at the fort. I cannot say this chief's Osala.
Osceola.
Osala. Like Chief. Say it again.
Osceola.
Chief Osceola. I don't know why I want to say Ascola because there's a C in that one. With his family was north of the Chewy Baca. The steamboat America had been sent to the Suwannee to assist Colin Crane. Oh, that's I can't say Indians. Colin. It's COL. It's Colin.
It's Colin Crane. Jeez.
I'm just trying to skip some of this, right? Against the Indians in that quarter. if they should break out. Because you can always, break free and get caught again if they can catch you. Okola. Yeah, Okola has lost all his influence because he would not consent to kill his captives. My canopy, I can't. Is about 45 years old, good looking, and athletic. Hey ladies, in case you're single, they call the present agreement the Treaty of Fort Dade. And they add that in there. Just so you know, my canopy is good looking, 45 years old, is not having a midlife crisis, and is available. Hey. Oh my god. He's good looking, ladies. Hey.
Never here putting ads in here for.
I don't know what the heck that was
That's
about.
funny.
Why would you didn't talk about anybody else's good looks. I guess they didn't have any. Oh my god. Right?
Wow.
Okie dokie. On to the next article.
Next.
Alrighty.
What do we have here? The
That-
Herald from New York, New York. April 8th, 1837. We are talking about
St.
Fort
Augustine.
Dade around St. Augustine, March 31st. Late and important from the Army. Cheering intelligence. Oh, this is happy intelligence. This is by an express. Okay, how the heck did they have an express back then? Like, nothing moved like it does today. Nothing.
Well, back then they Pony Express.
Maybe a Pony Express or
That's what they
I
called
don't
it,
know.
the Pony Express.
That's crazy.
You didn't see that movie
No,
that talked about our
actually,
history
no.
of the mail carriers? Okay.
I think of Express nowadays as overnight mail. Hey, we can get it to you and
They had it back
24
then
hours
too. They
across
had it back
that.
then too. Yep. Depending on how far it needed to go and travel, they had ponies, station men at certain markers, and
Yeah,
they were the
pulled it up,
specific ones to run. Literally, like that's horsepower, baby. They were very like jockeys, basically. They were retired jockeys. You had to be petite, small, hang on, and ride that horse fast because those were fast horses. So yeah, that makes sense.
Oh dear.
They-
Okay.
the lineage is where jockeys came from, to ride a horse really fast. That was the original postal service. Oh, there you go.
All right.
I'm making that up.
Yeah.
By the way.
All right. So 1837, we have St. Augustine, March 31st. Late and important from the Army. Cheering intelligence by an express, which arrived last night from Fort Dade. Hey, Mikey. We have intelligence to the 26th and of the most gratifying of the chiefs and their bands have come in, and some have gone to Tampa Bay.
They've come and gone.
And there is a strong prospect of peace. Our savage foe has been compelled to consent to remove beyond the Mississippi. And preparations are making to accomplish this desirable object speedily. We have been politely favored with the following extract of a letter to a gentleman of this city dated Fort Dade, March 26th. You abundantly have had minute details of all the doings with us since our visit to
Tapokia. Tapioca.
It seems that the Indians were as sick of the war as ourselves, and were happy to take advantage of the first chance of coming to terms. There is no doubt that the war is ended so far as the chiefs have power to contract. One camp is in Duncan with Seminoles, who are moving south of the Hillsborough in conformity with the treaty stipulations, which requires them all to be there by the 1st Proximo. Cloud with his band are already at Tampa, where all are to assemble by the 10th. Philip's son yesterday came in and brought assurance of his father's adhesion. May says that the hatchet is buried with them. And in reply to a question as to what the Machowskis would do, replied that they would, of course, come in, as McKennedy had ordered it. But if they did not, the forces of, I can't read anymore.
Forces of, I want to say the nations will, the paper is folded and there is no more. So, but there's the bury the hatchet.
See, they did do censorship back then.
Yeah, they just folded the paper.
They folded it and you can't even read anymore. So, sorry, folks.
Back then, if you didn't want anybody to read it, you threw the paper in the fire or splashed some water on it. Hey, we do that today. Very interesting. To say kinder words about such people after, the hostilities, I guess. Alrighty. Oh, this is going to be a hard one to read. That is very faded. On to the next. The Arkansas Advocate. Arkansas Advocate. Little Rock. Think I'm gonna have to take you off. Okay, I'm gonna go country on ya. April 20th, 1837. From Florida. Information has been received from General Sessup to the 25th of February from Fort Dade, which states that since the 20th, several principal chiefs of the Seminole tribe. Is this the one you just read?
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
No? Doesn't sound like it? It sounds like it.
Nah.
Seminole. Are you being sarcastic? I can't see your face. Nope. Give me a straight answer. Nope.
Nope.
Had been there and spent the great part of the 23rd and 24th either in conferences with the individuals or council. So you did read this. Oh, this one has it broken down where you can haka chaka loogie, but it's very faded. You read this one, right?
No.
Really? Can you read this better than me? Because my eyes are already bad.
Okay, everybody.
Wow.
Let's do this.
That's really faded.
Alrighty, so information has been received from General Jessup up to the 25th of February from Fort Dade, which states that since the 20th, several principal chiefs of the Seminole tribe had been there, that he spent the great or part of the 23rd and 24th either in conferences or council with them collectively. Chuli. Yeah, that's another one. The second chief of the nation, brother and heir of McKennedy, represented the nation. He declared that the Indians were tired of war and were anxious to be upon terms of peace and friendship with their white brothers.
It's very similar to the last article. Just some changes.
But that they were at present so much dispersed that he had not been able to collect all the chiefs. General Jessup informed Halatuchi that he could treat only with my canopy, that he had expected that chief on the 18th and had been disappointed, and that he expected him still and would not make peace unless he would come in. Halatuchi promised that my canopy would come in and appointed the 4th of March as the day on which he would appear. In the meantime, the hostile Indians north of the Wallachuli and
Good
the
job,
road to Fallujah
Very
are
good.
to be withdrawn to the south of that line and are not to pass north of it unless peace shall have taken place or hostilities be recommenced, nor are they to go to the east of the St. John's. 12 hostages, one of them a nephew of my canopy, have been left with the General Jessup. Wow. And the chiefs started on the 25th of February on their return to Makanapi. At least 500 warriors were represented by the chiefs present. And as General Jessup has 27 Negro prisoners, the property of Makanapi, he entertains strong hopes that Makanapi will come in and thus close this perplexing and harassing war.
Oh my God. You're holding this family hostage. Are you going to come in now? I bet you'll sign it now. Here you go.
Wow.
I'm holding them hostage. They're my prisoners. I'm like, what makes them your prisoners? Because I said so, right? It's all a head game. I mean, also, there's weapons involved and it's basically intimidation. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, let's get them at their weakest, right? Because humans, and oftentimes in movies, they say humans' weaknesses is love and affection. I'm like, yeah, because evil exists in the world and will always exploit that. Because if you're evil, you have no love and affection. A whole lot of crap going on.
That's-
On to the next.
Okay.
Cheraw. It's like Cheraw.
Cheraw.
Cheraw. It's like Cheraw Gazette.
Cheraw.
It's in South
Cheraw.
Carolina. Cheraw. I'm going to say it wrong and I'm going to hear all about it because it's in
Yep.
South Carolina. Everybody's particular with their pronunciations. I said, well, then you start telling me all of the upper most of the northern Michigan and upper peninsula names. You tell me how to say it, and I'll tell you if you did it right or wrong. We always get something right or wrong. Most of the time wrong, because we're not from them parts. Nobody knows how to say Muskegon. That's a native name. I can say Muskegon because I grew up with it. But all these Florida tribe names, I can't say not one of them. Except for Manatee. I can say Manatee. I couldn't even say Pinellas for years. I kept calling it pineapple. I'm okay. All right, can you read this article?
Growing up in Florida gave me a little advantage because I recognize the names. So
Growing up in Michigan gave me the advantage. You couldn't even say Sheboygan or Charlevoix.
oh my God, no.
Petoskey? Travers? Can you read this
Okay.
article?
Where are we at here?
It's
let's
the
see.
Cheraw.
Head
Ad.
Carolina.
I don't know if
Let's
you can
say
read it.
Headquarters Army of the South. Is that it?
All I can see is H and a Q. So we
Headquarters
can't read it. We can just skip
Army
it.
of the South. Fort Dade, March 20th, 1837. Colonel, I enclose you a copy. Oh my God. I can feel it, right? It's
Yes.
Colonel. I enclose you a
The military is
copy
getting pissed.
of the
No, as I would say,
capitulation
colon.
entered into by the chiefs of the Seminole Nation in behalf of themselves and the nation, which it would perhaps be well to have published in the papers of the territory for the information of the people.
People want to know. People have a right to know.
By one of the articles, you will observe that the Indians are to move to the south of the Hillsborough River by the 1st of April. The chiefs, I am sure, are anxious to fulfill their engagements, but there are no doubt many parties of Indians strolling over the country, regardless.
How dare they?
of-
You can't walk
Yeah.
there. You're jaywalking. You can't walk
regardless
there. That's my sidewalk.
of the authority of the chiefs.
Hands up if everybody thinks that the government back in the 1830s is the Karen. Are they acting like Karens right now? They're walking all around these parts. This is my neighborhood.
Oh,
Is that not a Karen?
wait till you hear this.
Oh my God.
They should be driven out, and I have no request that you keep your territorial troops as
Karen wants to see the
as
manager.
actively employed as possible in
Karen doesn't feel safe.
scouring.
The alligators don't bother
country
her.
in.
But the native
So-
people, they need to get out of Karen's space. Sorry, that's just too funny. That was just like, they need to be driven out. How dare
Yeah.
they?
I'm gonna. I gotta read this again. They should be driven out, and I have no request that you keep your territorial troops as actively employed as possible in scouring country within the settlements confided to your protection. I will give similar instructions to Lieutenant Colonel Crane.
Just send in the Karens.
There is no disposition on the part of the great body of the Indians to renew hostilities, and they will. I fulfill their engagements if the inhabitants of the territory be prudent, but any attempt to seize their Negroes or other property would be followed by an instant resort to arms. I have some hopes of inducing the Indians and the Indian
Wow.
Negroes to unite in bringing in the Negroes taken from the citizens during the war. I am Colonel, most respectfully, your obedient servants. Thus, General Jessup, Major General Cumming, Colonel J. Warren, Cumming, Florida, militia and volunteers. Yeah,
Jacksonville, Florida. Like, oh my God.
wow.
That right there is a demonstration of a fake alpha male. Send in the Karens. He'll be scared. He'll be running for the hills. And I'm like, how dare they walk around this land as if they were here first? How dare they? I was skimming through these before. It's still just appalling to my eyeballs going, we still have this problem today. I get one person against any person, and mindset, culture, whatever. We have one person against another. Why do we have this problem? It's the history of the world. Just evil exists in itself. Just absolutely mind-boggling, even though, like I just said, it simply exists because good and evil exist. So make a choice. Apparently, you can read it for yourself and see that they chose evil. And we're just sitting here going like, okay, is that what it is? On to the next.
On
No.
to the next.
Arkansas Advocate again. Arkansas. It's our Kansas, not yours. You take that, Kansas. You can have that one. Again, Little Rock, April 27th, 1837. This one also says St. Augustine, March 31st, but it looks like it's a much smaller article. Late and important from the Army, cheering intelligence. Is it cheery? Like
They're
it's
cheering again.
cheering. Yay! Woo! Bring on the intelligence. Still waiting for it over 200 years later. Okay. By an express, which arrived late last night. That's the Pony Express, babe.
Here they come again.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, we need to get some coconuts. And like, that sound like an Monty Python. Anyway. It arrived late last night. Arrived last night from Fort Day. We have intelligence. Denied. We have intelligence to the 26th and of the most gratifying character. This is the same thing you just read. It's funny, this is a smaller article. Many of the chiefs and their bands have come in, and some have gone to Tampa Bay. Whoop, whoop, Tampa. There is a strong prospect of peace. Our savage foe have been compelled. You know how they were compelled? You held their family hostage. Leave out the details in most of these articles, right? It's so nice that they were compelled, as the locals will talk about it. Them native folks, they were compelled. It was very nice of them to finally sign it. They were compelled. How are they compelled, Grandpa? Don't ask too many questions, young man. No. Don't ask too many questions around here. How were they compelled? We had their women and children. That's the history, right? They were compelled. We have been politely favored. When you read that line before, politely favored, I'm sitting here going, y'all the reason that voodoo magic exists, you know that, right? We've been politely favored because they were compelled because we were holding their women and children hostage. Yeah, that's right. Love the twisting and the wording here. Oh my goodness. So this says the exact same thing. You undoubtedly have had minute details of all of the doings with us since our visit to Tapioca.
Yes, Tapakalaka.
It seems that the Indians were as sick of the war as ourselves. Yeah. Who started it now? Who wasn't being nice at the table? Give us your goods and carry on. I ain't no doormat. There is no doubt that the war is ended so far as the chiefs have power to contract. Oh, what is this, like a bunch of oxymorons? I'm like, gee, when you're at the edge of the cliff or the edge of the water. I know it kind of seems like Last of the Mohicans, but we're going to go to the next article, because that was basically another duplicate, which I like to point out why there's more than just duplicates. It's more than just two, because it's a different publishing, it's a different state. They publish these every month to every week in different states, towns, you name it. They push this stuff. There's most of the articles I go through are all just say reprints, just in a different press company. It's one of the things while doing your own research to kind of pick up that pattern and see for yourself is that pattern of manipulation. But you still have to, read through it and just shake your head being like, damn. So we have Burlington Free Press, Burlington, Vermont, of April 28th, 1837. From Florida, an official report has been received from General Jessup. And I get better at saying the names eventually, especially you, babe. You're doing a smash-up job. Dated, Fort Dade, March 26. Is this the same one again? Yahoo.
Yahula Chief. Yeah.
Or Chief Cloud, apparently. Who commanded the Woo-ha. The Wahoo.
The Wahoo.
I said Woo-ha.
You said Woo-ha.
He's at Tampa
It's the
Bay
Wahoo.
with his family. Yep, that's another repeat. It's just, again, it looks smaller, and they just kind of slightly rearrange it. It's not plagiarism. Is it? It's not plagiarism, right? If you slightly rearrange it, it's still an original. Because I skimmed these too. None of these came off the same way. If I'm reading the first two sentences, the top and the middle and the last two sentences, I'm trying to skim and be like, okay, this one's different. This one's different. Wrong. Just a different date, same year, and a different possible town location. Next one, Vermont Phoenix, Brattleboro, Brattleboro, Vermont. Can you say that, babe? Or is this the one you're missing?
I would say Brattleboro.
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 I'm like, Bartholomew was the only thing that came to mind.
Brattleboro.
Mouthful.
May 5th, 1837.
I think this is the whole thing, unless it's a repeat of the same story. So it starts off at Fort Armstrong, East Florida, April 4th, 1837. From what I can learn of the Seminoles, the females seem to possess the same influence in marriages and matters of descent that men do among other nations. This is a very different article. The kingdom, on the demise of the king, does not descend to his son, but to the first son of his eldest daughter. So that, besides the impossibilities of the thrones ever being inherited by others than though of true blood, the man instead of the woman may be ennobled by marriage. Well, that is not the typical monarchy. Wow. That's like the opposite of how they even talk about it in the Bible. The lineage is through the man on the man's side, but it all started with Mary. It all started with, like, well, not all started, but
Hold on.
technically.
I want to read it again so everyone hears it.
You read it so that, it's a different voice, different personality. Go for it.
So the kingdom, on the demise of the king, does not descend to his son, but to the first son of his eldest daughter. So the eldest daughter's son. So that would basically be the grandchild, not his actual son.
His eldest daughter's first son would be his first grandson by his daughter.
So the grandson.
However, word salad.
So the grandson, let's word it that way. So the grandson, besides the impossibility of the thrones ever being inherited by others than those of true blood, the man instead of the woman may be ennobled by marriage.
So the man has to marry in.
Yes.
The man needs to dream of marrying a princess. That's why Pocahontas was so important. That's like that story kind of idea of it. That's how my brain works. Sorry, y'all.
Well, you got Pocahontas, you got Princess Jasmine, so to speak, right?
It's in the Middle East. We're talking of...
I'm just saying, it's the same thing.
No.
The princess.
I know you're thinking of princesses, but no. The storyline of
Well,
the
storyline.
man to inherit. The man needs to marry good. Okay, we'll word it that way. The man has to marry a good. Marry rich, honey, sonny. Marry rich, sonny. I don't know, just keep reading, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we kind of like butchered this already. Oh, let's see here. Thus, Cooper received much importance from having wedded Paquet's daughters.
Pecky.
His dominion was principally confined to the warrior Negroes, and it was he who led them on the complete work of destruction at Dave's battle by scalping and mutilating the dead and wounded. Wow.
We just went from
Several
marry rich to Viking style, like gruesome shit. Okay.
Yeah. Several stakes with scalps attached to them, planted in the circumference of a circle, shewed where he had held his war dance and exulted in his barbarous deeds. He was happy freaking pound that chest.
Yes.
But retributive justice seemed to pursue him. In November 1836, when General Jessup was returning from Fallujah, a party of his flankers compelled him to flee and burned his village to the ground.
Wow.
He sought a new residence and chose, not far from the old one, a small peninsula extending into a lake with such a narrow isthmus as to have, from most points, the appearance of an island. Wonder what island that is we're talking about. This was among hills from which could be seen a large extent of wilderness, intersected with gleaming lakes and vast solitary hammocks.
Hammocks.
Hammocks. Everyone say hammocks.
Hammocks.
Okay. Here he lived in fancied security and subsided by sending out his Negroes to hunt in the surrounding country. In January, when the army went south, the light troops fell in with one of these hunters, who informed of the body of his master and the manner in which it might be reached. The Creeks arrived first, and taking him completely by surprise. In spite of the efforts of Lieutenant Chambers, they shot him down with 3 of his men, among whom was one of his sons, a tall, handsome fella and doctor.
He's not available anymore, just so you know.
Not no more.
Yeah. There's his stats, but he's not available no more. Sorry, ladies.
Being only wounded, a large athletic Creek leveled his piece at him and was just about to pull the trigger when he was unnerved by receiving a ball from the fallen chief, which passed through his body near the heart. In retaliation,
This is so descriptive. This is ridiculous.
In retaliation, the chief's head was smashed to pieces.
Ugh.
His
Why?
younger boy, a noble youth of 15, exclaimed, "Shoot me too, I am a man." His wife, children, and other dependents, to the amount of 15, were taken prisoners, and his personal property seized. Holy moly.
This is so descriptive, and shoot me too. I am a man. While your wife and kids are just, yeah, I don't know. I guess
Wow.
we'll just finish
Okay,
it out.
I'm just gonna go down to the bottom down here. Okay, the end of all of this is you have undoubtedly heard that some of the most important chiefs sought Jessup and agreed to meet him in council at Fort Dade on the 18th of February. Sometime after this, however, had elapsed before McAnapee had even sent in his talk. When it came, it evinced the great attachment that he had for his country. You have driven me from country into a very bad place in the swamp. I don't want to fight anymore. I wish for peace, and I want you would let me remain on the little spot where I am now. This swamp was in the most dreary region that I have ever seen. When at last he arrived and took his seat in council, a corpulent, benevolent, good-natured, witty old man, I felt more keenly than ever the injustice of driving him from home. Oh, what?
The Seminole has been treated as though we thought him entitled to no considerations whatsoever. Indeed, we have been. We our mother's milk. I don't like. Okay. I hate some of these weird things. I'm just like, we went from marriage and women inheritance to battlegrounds. I was just like, why are we all over the place? That's just a lot of detail in this one, I guess. Not a short article. Very interesting. We'll have everything linked in the description box below.
Yes. I do want to read this quick part before we move to the next article.
Go for it. Okay.
I have heard this around other channels, so to speak, lately. Okay, so it says, but the Seminoles are far from this. Oh, hold on. Okay, Indians in the most ferocious beast of the woods. Sure. But the Seminoles are far from this. Many of their customs and laws and many traits in their character remind me of the ancient Jews. Their dealings are in that good faith, and in their intercourses they use a language of the conscious property that characterized the Jews in the fairest days of their prosperity. Just think that was interesting that they characterized themselves as such. I was just like, maybe, just maybe.
There's a lot of, I don't know, maybe I wasn't there. And also just going, we still have the problem today. Like these thoughts swirl in my head. Alrighty. We're almost done. We got little tiny articles left. 6. The next one is Constantine Republic, Constantine, Michigan, June 14th, 1837. Late from Florida. Charleston, May 1st. The following is an extract from a letter received in that city on the 27th. I can read. No, I can't. Yes, I can. From a lieutenant in the army, dated Fort Dade, 13th of April. And it says Jessup has moved to Tampa, 50 miles from this. The war is ended unquestionably. The Indians are coming in rapidly, upward of 1,000 at Tampa, ready to embark. There are in the nation 1,680 warriors. The world estimated them at 500 to 600. Woo, that's a really bad estimate. Their estimations of everything here in a wide proportion, for sure. That's literally all there was in that article.
So they estimated 500 to 600, and there was like 1,000, almost 1,700.
Yeah,
like you're a little off there,
let's
buddy.
see. Times 3 to 4.
Jeez. Next.
The Morning Herald, New York, New York, January 9th, 1838.
That's what I'm missing.
Oh, that is? Okay.
Yep.
This was simply, it's in the video. I'm sorry, the videos don't all match up. But it was simply to note that a soldier, Thomas B. Adams of the United States Army, had passed away. And I decided to mention it at Fort Dade, Florida, because he passed away of an illness, a fever. This is going to be a very common story. I don't really want to say pattern too much, but a very common story indeed.
Theme. It's a very common theme.
What theme should we have for the party? How about yellow fever? Yellow fever. The first I just call it fever. So that was January 9th. This is 1838. And on to Piney Woods planter and Amite Union lettery reflector. That is one heck of a title. Liberty, Mississippi. Oh my God, it just So most of these articles were 1837. This also just now noting that it has to do with the Second Seminole War. The first one was in like 1817 to 1818. Shorter and over a different matter. Not really, but yeah. Anywho, this one, I'm just going to call it Piney Woods, Liberty, Mississippi, May 5th, 1838. From Florida, the New Orleans Commercial Bulletin says a passenger in the U.S. steamer from Florida reports the capture of 70 Indians by Captain Bankhead. He took it to the bank, baby. Near Zax, Biscayne. Is that how you say that? That's spelled with an X-E-Y.
Say.
I think they spell it with it. Don't they spell it with a C now? They spell it differently. It's not spelled with an X. Like nothing, spelled with an X anymore. But that's X-E-Y. Biscayne. B-I-S-C-A-I-N-E. The savages have killed an express mail rider between Cape King and Fort Dade, and 2 men near Newmansville. Okay, it's hyphenated. A rumor prevailed of the murder of Governor Call, C-A-L-L, by the Indians in West Florida, but wants confirmation. I would much appreciate that too. The rumor is confirmed. Well, that was quick. The General Jessup has captured 500 or 600 Indians and Negroes. They were a part parcel. They were a parcel. That's like a package, right? A parcel that had been encamped for some time in his neighborhood, negotiating. Doubting their sincerity, he had been surrounded and secured. Does this continue at the top? That was the shortest, most interesting. Okay. The men's unwon forever for it. Break not his neck. The combat he'll break it himself in vainglory. That was smudged. Hard to read, but okay there.
Wow.
That was that article. Wow.
Okay. Next.
Next.
What?
Southern Telegraph, Rodney, Mississippi, July 18th, 1839. From
What?
Florida.
I thought that was 1838.
What did I say?
39.
I did? Oh, that's
Yeah.
the next one. I'm skipping ahead, man. I'm going to read two at the same time.
Southern Telegraph, Rodney, Mississippi, July 18th, 1838. Yeah.
1838. From Florida.
From Florida.
By
I had a rap on it.
Are we fighting for this now?
Yeah.
Go for it. You're less tongue-twisted than me.
Savannah, we learned that the Seminoles are again actively at work. The Seminoles are again actively at work. They have burnt 2 bridges on the Withlacoochee and also Fort Dade.
Wait, Fort Dade has a bridge?
Yeah, that's interesting. They said they have burnt 2 bridges on the Withlacoochee and also Fort Dade. Abandoned by our troops, General Taylor with 15 companies had gone in pursuit of them.
Fort Taylor's in Key West.
Well, that was the General
funny.
Taylor.
I know.
Yeah.
But 2 bridges, one here and one, I'm not with the Litchfield. Also Fort Dade. It's an island. It doesn't say to search, separate the names, but they overlap of going. The location of Fort Dade is Egmont Key. That's always been known as an island. There's never anything in the research or anything that anybody has ever said, historians so far, that there was a bridge. On one side, it's 2 miles to mainland. Well, I'll say another key. You have Anna Marie Island to the south, and you have Mullet Key. Yes, Mullet Key to the north. They say it's about a mile, 2 miles. I mean, the Skyway Bridge is further up the Tampa Bay inlet of just off of Fort Key. You can see it from the bridge, as you can see the lighthouse.
Yep.
It's not that far. And they've been building bridges for years. That's interesting that they actually ever had a bridge there, even if it was wooden, obviously. Or not, which would be even more intriguing. Alrighty. On to the last article. Hopefully all this recorded well. It's an hour and a half in. Okay. I am not going to read that. You read that.
Which one are we on?
The last one. The
That's-
Caledonian. Did I say it right?
Okay. Yes, the Caledonian St. Johnsbury,
Ooh, I said it right. Vermont.
Vermont. Yes.
December 10th.
December
Now we can say 1839.
1839. Okay.
Okay.
Florida War. A writer in the Charleston Courier who seems to be familiar with the
Subject.
subject. There's a dot.
I know this one. They put a dot instead of hyphen.
Okay, so with the
Instead
subject,
of period.
estimates the cost of a bushel of corn as fed out to the mules used for carrying military stores from Black Creek at $5.
Only $5. That's
It is said that a cargo of oats fed out at Fort Dade, 43 miles from Tampa Bay, cost, when all the items of expense connected with it were cast up to $35 a bushel. That is a lot of money back then.
That's because
serious
location. Why is gas cheaper over here? You go 2 blocks and you're in the uppity neighborhood, or it's just way out of your way, and gas prices, wow. It's either in the middle of nowhere, gas is $9 a gallon, or you're in the uppity neighborhood and gas is $12 a gallon. But if you go around the corner over to Hicksville where we live, it's $2.99. But that's why they're saying it. $35 a bushel. Whether they're money laundering or something. That's a connection to like mafia style shit right there.
Yeah. And you of our honest yeomanry have had any idea of the sums of money expended in the attempt to drive out the Indians from that last loophole of their retreat, and fewer yet have known that themselves, were every day contributing to supply the money for these enormous expenses in the form of taxes on the articles of necessity purchased with the sweat of their brow.
That's inflation.
It's North America, yeah.
And living in the wrong neighborhood. Yeah. So that was the last article on a funnier offset note, but also it's how you get rid of the riffraff in your neighborhood. Y'all should be walking around here. I want to see the manager, as Karen would say. Oh my goodness. Well, that was like 16 articles. Most of them small, but a lot going on there. So we are out of here. And now a message from our unofficial sponsor.
Change the channel. Hold up. Hey. This must never be seen by anyone.
Why? Here goes. I sped. I followed too closely. I ran a stop sign. I almost hit a Chevy. I sped some more. I failed to yield at a crosswalk. I changed lanes in the intersection. I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yes?
Not you, him. What's your name?
Me.
Yes, you.
I am me. He's me. And I'm you.
You, me, everybody.
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.